Alright, so tonight I'm going to do a deck profile on the King Vegeta leader. He's one of the newer leaders. He's pretty basic. What he is, he's a 10k on the front side, 15k on the reverse side. Now, what he does is, basically with this card you can only include Saiyan cards, so you can't include anything that's not a Saiyan card. And what he does, he allows you to take a card from your life and then search the top 5 for a Saiyan and put it into your hand. So he kind of like pluses 2 on the front side. Now to awaken him, you need a certain field card to awaken him, which we'll get to later. But once he awakens, what he does is you can place 2-drop Saiyan, basically negate its skills for the duration of the turn. And then what you do is when you play that card, you get to draw a card. So when he swings, like most leaders, he doesn't get to draw a card, so you're kind of reliant on getting that 2-drop to keep drawing cards. The other effect is you can sacrifice a card to basically give him a plus 5k and double strike. So a lot of times you're going to do that on the end turn when you're pushing for game. Alright, so the rest of the cards, we'll go right here. So to start off, they play 4 Broly demonic origins, because he's demonic. And also, he's a dual colored red green card that also helps. So a lot of times what you want to do is charge a multicolor card first. It doesn't necessarily have to be this card, it could be one of the others that you'll see later, that allows your other multicolor cards to come into play untapped. And sometimes you're going to play him off the leader skill, and sometimes you're just going to, I've played him for 2 before just to get just to play him normally and get the discard effect. So, go on to the next card. Next card is 2 of these, and this is some tech. It's pretty situational. A lot of times you are just playing him for the leader effect or the field effect, which draws you 2, and the leader effect, which draws you 1. Other times, if they do spam the board with a lot of things, you can just hard play him and get basically, he'll KO anything that's 3 or less, and then also you get to draw 2 cards, but you have to discard a card to do that. So it just allows you to see more cards in your deck. Before we go into more battle cards, since I'm kind of doing this out of order, we're going to go to the field card, because it does. You want to play 4 of these, because this is the card that allows you to awaken, and you have to play 4. Some people play 3, but I would suggest playing 4 at all times, because if you do not see this, you will never awaken. And then you'll just be a 10k leader just getting its face beaten. This card's very good because it allows, generally you want to play it on turn 3, because you're wanting to do a card that comes into play tapped on turn 1. Then on turn 2, you're allowed to play another energy. Hopefully it's another multicolored energy, which then allows both your energy to be open. So on turn 2, you're really not doing anything. You're just holding up your negates or your counter plays. Then on turn 3, you're going to slam this bad boy, and then you're going to awaken that turn, and basically, generally, you're able to draw anywhere between 4 to 6 cards on your awaken turn, as long as you do it right. Next card. Yep. One more piece of tech was this, just because in our area we have some HOM. If you're not playing against HOM, you can just basically play it off this, or play it off the leader to draw cards. But if you are, then you want to keep it for the combo. So basically, you can stop Path to Greatness, or just basically anything really annoying. Next one is this. Same as the last, but it goes well with these, which you play as a 4 of, so this is a 2 of. So sometimes you're just playing this off the skill to negate the skills, and then later it'll be something else. But sometimes when you're really trying to push for game, you can swing with this and then pay a green to put it in your yard, and then bring this out if you come with it and swing for this. So it just allows you to apply more pressure. Now this is pretty just a generic, it's a skillless, but basically it allows you off the field card to leader card just to play these. And it's a 20k beat stick, which is hard for a lot of decks to get over. Another one, which is basically just your 20k beat stick, but the other thing you got to be more careful with this, because there are times where you want to give your leader on this. Where's the leader? Where's the leader? Okay, right here. The double strike effect. But this card makes it where you can't sack or you can't KO. You can't basically get rid of your cards on your own skills. So when you're using this card, you just got to be careful. You got to play it and swing, and then when you're going for game with this card, when you wanted to give it the double strike, then you have to set up your turns to combo these correctly to make sure they're not on the field, so you can do that. Alright, now we're flying through. So next card is this card. This card is Bardock. What this also allows you to do is just push harder for game and let you see more cards. Because basically the way the deck does, you're really defensive turns 1, 2, and 3, and turn 4 and 5, you're just playing tons of battle cards. And then if you can just play a battle card off your leader, and then you played one off the field card, and then sometimes you can hard drop a 2-drop and overwhelm with this to see more cards. It just allows you to see a lot more cards and also just push harder on turns 4 or 5 when you need to. This card, a lot of times being charged as energy. Sometimes it comes into play, but it's a dual color card. It has a rival, so sometimes that's necessary, and sometimes you just want to see that it lets you see a card off your life, and basically when you're doing your life is at 3 or less, it gains, I believe, dual attack and double strike. Yep, dual attack and double strike. So it also can push for game, but most times I was just charging it. Now this card right here was always a lot more relevant and it was a lot better. This card right here allowed me to do a lot of different things. Once again, push for game. It is a double striker that's a 20k. And a lot of times this card allowed me on generally turn 4 to basically, with the other pressures playing for my vanillas, basically put them at 2 life, which would set up a lot of times for this card. This is the SCR, and basically if you can get them down to 2 or 3 life and you play that card, it's just game over. This card, when it comes into play, they automatically just have to lose 2 off its effect. And then on top of it, it is, what the hell is this? I have to read this again. Well, yeah, that's it. You have to crit 1. You have to crit 1. But basically, it swings, so that'll be 1, and then it automatically takes 2. So if they're at 3, it'll be hard for them to stop that. The super combo of the deck is this, because it is a Saiyan, so it is searchable off the front side, the King Vegeta leader. There was a time where I did have to play it just to get the card draw. So, and also it's a 0 plus 10k, so even at 4 or less life you can protect. This deck really just plays really defensively until you hit about turn 3 or 4. Now for the defensive package, you run Mach Speed Kaioken Goku, which is really good. It gives a card a -10, and you can choose another battle card and get it a -5. Or basically you can choose the same card twice and give it a -15. So it's pretty good. It gets around cards that can't be KO'd because it gives a neg instead of just the KO effect. The other counterplay is probably the best counterplay, I would say. Maybe that or Champa the Trickster. Vegeta the Cruel. So what this does, this card basically reads 2 for 1. So basically I play 1 card, I get to deal with 2 of yours. And then if you happen to swing on your turn, then I can swing and hit a battle card that you swiped last turn, and if it KOs it, then basically it's a 3 for 1. Because what it does is it pops a card that comes into play, takes a card from hand, and then if your opponent swung on the last turn, you can actually swing in and KO that card. So basically this card can deal with 3 cards. So it can be a 3-for-1, or a lot of times you're just doing its effect for a counterplay, and then that same turn you're comboing it to keep your life total high to go into your field card on the following turn. Denial of Hope's in there just because it's also very defensive, and like the first 3 turns you're pretty defensive. It's another counterplay. It gives any card with 20,000 power or less, it goes to their drop instead of into play. So basically it allows you to get around a lot of effects, but it won't let you get around deflect. So deflect protects you against these. Deflect will not protect you against these, but barrier will protect you against these. So now we're in the last few cards of the deck.
10 minutes.
I know. Okay, so after image technique is at 3. Is that all you got? Is at 2. Originally, I had this at 4, and I didn't even have any. Is this all you got in the deck? I had something else. I forgot what I had originally, but basically, around our area, we're seeing a lot of U6. So my tech against U6 was just to add 2 of these on top, just to make it, just to be able to punish the U6 deck more. Because basically you get to give 2 cards a negative 15k, and you get a negated attack. And after image technique, you don't need to say much about that. It's just a really good card that you can negate for free. Well, you can't really negate, but it gives your about a quarter liter plus 40k and a negative 10 to another card. So that's pretty much it. I played this last Saturday, and I ended up going 3-1. I dropped round 1 to Toa. Then I'm trying to think how many matches went. So round 1 was Toa. Round 2, I played against some weird Champa deck. Round 3, I don't even remember. I played against the Namekian deck. And then round 4 I played against the Namekian deck. I can't even remember what my round 3 matchup was. Eventually I ended up going 3-1. And that's pretty much it. Thanks.